think of idgham, think of something merging, so you remember what the idgham is. Okay? So, the idgham is of two types. There is one type of merging or idgham in which you do a ghunnah, and one type in which you don't do a ghunnah. Today we'll only discuss the type which you don't do a ghunnah, and in our next episode we'll discuss the idgham in which you do a ghunnah. Okay, what exactly is an idgham? What exactly is idgham? The idgham means you merge the word before the tanween or the noon sakina into the word after the tanween or the noon sakina. Excuse me, the letter before the noon and to the letter after the noon. What happens to the noon itself? Well, when there's no ghunnah, as in these two cases of the lam and the ra, it is completely dropped. And that is why we call it idgham or merging. You merge what is before with what is after, and you drop the actual sound of na, the tanween or the noon sakina. And the two letters of idgham without ghunnah are lam and ra. So anytime you have a noon sakina followed by a lam, or you have a tanween followed by a lam, or a tanween followed by a ra, or a noon sakina followed by a ra, you drop the sound of n, and you merge what is before with what is after. Let's give an example here. We have over here, min rabbihim. Notice we have a noon sakina followed by a ra. And the ra is a letter of idgham without ghunnah. So you don't say min rabbihim, you drop it. You drop the noon and you merge the mim with the ra. And you say, mil rabbihim, mil rabbihim, immediately. Likewise, in the next example, ghafuran rahima. Ghafuran, there's a tanween, okay, followed by a ra. You don't say ghafuran rahima, you say ghafuran rahima, ghafuran rahima. You don't hear an N sound because you drop it. Likewise, hudan lil muhsinin, the same applies here. You have a dal with a tanween, and then you have a lam. Hudan lil muhsinin, hudan lil muhsinin. Again, you don't say hudan. If you said hudan, then that would be incorrect. The whole point is that you merge what is before it with what is after it. We have another two more examples. وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. We have a tanween on the ta. هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ. You didn't hear the end sound, it was dropped. Likewise, we have in Surah Al-Ikhlas, لَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ لَمْ يَكُنْ يَكُنْ. Look what happened to the noon, dropped. Suppose you were to stop, then you have to say لَمْ يَكُنْ. You ran out of breath or something, you have to say the noon. But if you go on, then it is not allowed to say the noon. Rather, you merge what is before the noon with what is after the noon. And that is why it is called idgham. That you merge what is before it with what is after it. Now open up Surah Al-Alaq. We probably don't have time to recite, but we will just point out some examples in Surah Al-Alaq. Surah Al-Alaq, as you know, is the first surah of the Qur'an that was revealed. If you go to the last few ayat, we have over here, let's look at verse number 7, okay? Verse number 7. أَوْرَآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. What is over here? We have the noon sakina followed by a ra. So how do we pronounce it? أَوْرَآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. Now here as a side point, remember when we were talking about the rules of the ra, we said one of the most common mistakes with the ra is what? The rolling of the ra. You repeat it. Someone make the mistake while they recite. Someone, Amr, why don't you make the mistake? Suppose you roll the ra, how would it sound then? Arra. Exactly. This is the common mistake. So make sure that when you do this idgham, you don't fall into the other mistake of rolling the ra. Okay? Samir, why don't you pronounce it properly?
أَرَّآهُ اسْتَغْنَى.
Exactly. أَرَّآهُ اسْتَغْنَى. Likewise, if you look at verse number 15, okay? كَلَّا لَئِن لَّمْ يَنْتَهِ لَنَسْفَعًا بِالنَّاصِيَةِ. Where is the idgham? Without ghunnah? لَإِلَّمْ. Exactly, okay? لَإِلَّمْ. So we have over here the noon sakina followed by a lam. And when we have this, then we drop out the noon and we pronounce it with the hamza immediately merges with the lam, and that is why we call it an idgham. Okay? طيب, we have only time for a short surah, so let us recite Surah Al-Ikhlas because that too has an idgham to it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
قل هو الله أحد.
قل هو الله أحد.
Quick review. The lam in the word Allah, is it heavy or light?
Heavy.
Why?
Heavy.
Was it preceded by fatha?
Preceded by a fatha, exactly. What did we do on the dal in ahad?
Qalqala.
Qalqala. Okay, remember, we're going to revise the rules as we go on. Allahu Samad.
Allahu Samad.
Okay, the lam in as-samad, why did we not pronounce it?
Solar.
It's a solar letter. The sad is a solar letter, which means we drop the lam when we have the alif lam there. Lam yalid wa lam yulad.
لم يلد ولم يولد.
Likewise, both of the qalqas are on the dal. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ.
ولم يكن له كفوا أحد.
Okay, what happened here with the idgham? You see it clearly, the noon sakin, before it is, after it is a lam. And a lam we studied right now is of the letters of idgham without gunna. So we drop the noon and we connect what is before it, which is the kaf, to with what is after it, and that is the noon, the lam. وَلَمْ يَكُلْ, there is no end sound. It is merged, it is dropped in the merging of what is before and what is after. And the last point here, kufuwan. How did we pronounce the noon there?
Clear.
Idhar, clear. Why? Because what is after it?
Hamza.
The hamza. We covered the idhar the last few episodes. The 6 letters of the throat, they are the letters of idhar, and of them is hamza. Okay. With this, we come to the conclusion of today's episode. We will continue the rules of noon sakin and tanween. Now, please don't get discouraged by the quantity of rules. These are very simple rules. It's just a matter of taking them one at a time. It doesn't require that much knowledge of Arabic. It doesn't require that much knowledge of any other science. It's just memorizing these simple rules. What occurs after the noon sakin or tanween? If it's a particular letter, then that ruling will apply. So don't get discouraged. Persevere, persist, and recite the Quran to someone who is knowledgeable so that he can correct you in his recitation. I hope to see you next time. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi